The Splash Recap podcast is brought to you by Swim Nerd Canada, makers of Canada's #1 digital pace clock. Please visit swimnerdcanada.com for more. All right, so welcome back, everyone, to the Splash Recap podcast, to a special episode about the Canada West Swimming Championships. Today, I'm joined by Baylee, head coach of the University of Regina. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, Marty.
All right. So to begin, we were just talking before I started recording, and most of the viewers have never been out to Canada West to see the championship. A lot of them are from Ontario. So as a swimmer and a coach, what's it like out there?
Yeah, so I've been to quite a few Canada West Championships. I started swimming with the Vikes in 2014, and I guess I did 5 years there. Spent a few years in the club system, but now full-time back into the varsity system. This is my second Canada West as a coach, and it's pretty exciting, right? You've got some different tiers of competition, we'll call it, because you'll have teams like UBC and Calgary that are really going head-to-head to try to take the title. Those are also teams that are going to be going really, really head-to-head at U Sports. And then you've got what I would say is a very rich and very diverse sort of collection of other teams from UVic, U of A, Lethbridge, Manitoba, and of course, the Regina Cougars that are all doing battle and looking for spots in those individual events and finals, right? So it's pretty exciting. It's quite deep in the sense of the very top level of performance. To get top 8 at Canada West, you definitely have to be moving in the morning, and it's only gotten substantially more competitive in the last few years. Like I remember seeing someone like a Jason Block, who's a really good breaststroker, or a Keegan Zanata, who's someone that's a really good 200 or middle distance freestyler. And now there's guys that are going both of those times in the same weekend, and they're just one guy, right? So the level has really, really improved. There's still lots of opportunities, especially if it's a double 10-lane pool. So you've got 20 for finals, and those events like 200 fly, 200 IM, there's still some money left on the ground to be picked up. But largely, if you want to compete at the highest level, it's a really competitive conference, and it is fun to watch and be a part of. We've got some really good swimmers in there.
Yeah, it's like really competitive. I look at the times coming in, and it's fast. It's fast. Even the people barely sneaking into finals are just missing out crazy fast, the times that they're going. You guys are also the only conference to do 10-lane finals, which I only realized this year, because the RSEC is still doing 8 and 8 for A and B. Same with OUA, AUS. What do you think we should all switch to the 10-lane finals? Like, I think that'd be more fun, but what do you think?
My opinion is that once you make it to the meet, and this is for developmental swimmers, this is for higher level swimmers, I think that anytime you're getting the opportunity to swim races is a good thing. It's good for development. It's good for finding pieces that you might be able to apply to other races throughout the weekend. And swimmers should, once you get it to a certain level, try to excel at that level, whether it means in terms of performing at the top end level or getting the variety of experiences. So, and we only do 10-lane finals when that's available. There might be some pools in which it's 8 and 8, which is, I will say, more typical, but it definitely changes how the game is played, because from 16th to 20th in 200 butterfly, there could be some substantial opportunities, and we have people that wouldn't necessarily be swimming those events can go in there, get a best time, build some confidence, and get some points for the team. I see it as a win. So I'm a big fan of the B finals. I'm a big fan of having a couple more lanes and getting a few more swims. I think it's good for development, it's good for performance in the long term. I'm a fan.
All right, cool. I like that. I like that coach's outlook. I really like that. Okay, let's go into some of the results of the meet. So, of course, starting with ladies first, of course, UBC won the meet. I don't want to say I was that surprised, especially with having the top performer of the year, Kayla Noel Sanchez, getting 96 points, plus athlete of the year.
Yeah.
First 50 fly, 50 free, 100 free, 2 IM, 800 free relay, 400 free relay, 400 medley relay. Just wow. How has the effect been out there in Canada West, having someone like Kayla Sanchez come out to UBC, Olympian, Canadian record holder, now swims for the Philippines? What has that changed the dynamic out there, or have you really noticed a difference having her out there?
Yeah, so from my perspective, there's pluses and minuses to having the center affiliation with the club program, right? Because if you look at the teams that have won U Sports over the years, it's center or center affiliated teams, right? So there is that effect on it. But for Kyla specifically, I think that she brings such a high level of skill and professionalism to what she's doing. I know I've talked to Derek and just said, oh, how is it working with her, right? Because he's actually the one that's, coaching her and working with her now rather than her being in the center, because she's just in that student athlete stage of her career where she's kind of accomplished what she wanted to, as far as I know, on the international stage. But yeah, like she's a super hard worker, right? She's going to push everyone around her, right? So I think on a regional training effect, then having someone like that is successful for the right reasons is really, really good. My dad's a big swim fan. He's from Victoria, so he actually came out and watched the swim meet, and watching her swim is one of the highlights because she's so explosive, she's so skilled, and yeah, her relative strength and power is just so insane. Like she can fly off the blocks, she hits the water with such a good entry, and then she's so powerful, but also highly drag mitigating underwater that she puts huge amounts of time on people, right? So yeah, so she's really, really good. She seems to be good for the right reasons, which is an easy sell to any program. And yeah, like I try to get kids that, again, are maybe in their first or second year, they're developing through the program. I try to get them to take a peek at what the really successful kids are doing and try to shadow it, take some notes in your notes app and emulate what they're doing. Like, look how she went right down to this. Look at how she's doing her pre-pool, or she's getting in and timing it like that. So it's good to see. It's something I tried to do when I was a swimmer, because there was a lot of time when I was not making finals. But yeah, so I think having the Kyla Sanchez, I think having the Finleys is good because it shows everyone basically the right way of doing things. It adds to the professionalism of it. And yeah, it's fast swimming is good swimming, and it gives people something to aspire to.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. I really like that. Yeah. I am very excited to see, her and Finley in Toronto at U Sports. I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll be really fun. Rookie of the Year, also from UBC, Natasha.
We just haven't popped up yet because, again, for college swimming and for those events, you're going to enter into 6, but you're only going to swim 4. You're going to end up scratching down, or you can do some exhibition stuff, but a lot of kids, they want to save their energy for what's going to support the team, because exhibition events, again, it's good for development, but if you're trying to swim 3 events on a day or 2 events, and plus you've got relays, it's pretty competitive. But yeah, good to see you're coming along. And yeah, lots of I think every team sort of has their top performers that it's pretty cool to see them go, right? Everyone's got a horse, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun to see everyone's top dogs also go against each other. Like
Sure.
Everyone's like best person being in the same heat. It's just exciting. It's just so exciting to see some fast swimming. And of course, Coach of the Year, Derek Schoof. Fair enough. Men and women's idol, brought in the 2 biggest recruits in the country.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Getting the job done. And I think one thing that's really interesting is you can sort of get a sense of each coach in the conference, because it can be pretty diverse, right? You might have some more distance oriented programs. You might have some more or sprint oriented things, right? One thing that I'll talk about later with the U Sports rankings is you can actually do a report now with what I've built and look at where each team's points are going to come from. And if you look at and then sort of align that to the coach's skills or interests or things like that, right? So I think Derek's a really, really good backstroke coach. I think he's good at breaststroke. I think he's good. Honestly, he's got a lot of strengths, right? But I mean, you look at things like the 100 backstroke final, and it's just stacked with UBC, 100 butterfly, right? So those are kind of high skill, high speed events that still require that broader development and capacity to be really successful. So there's a reason why they're successful, right? So coaching obviously makes a part in that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was trying to do my own little top 10 ranking, looking at the results that we have. And I noticed that too. There were some events that were just UBC, 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 UBC,
Yep.
UBC. Because, yeah, that coaching aspect is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. University of Calgary coming in second. Top performer.
Yeah, Alexandra Lepage, like she just sits so high in the water, right? Like she gets up there and everyone else better back off because she's so strong. She's really good, again, with her routine. I've just kind of watched her and what she's doing. She seems like she's very driven and very just like focused and locked in, I would say. And yeah, she'll step up over and over again. I mean, I think it was 4x2, 4x1, and 4x1 that she was on, like all of those, obviously doing well in breaststroke on IM. So takes a certain level of work. No amount of just sheer talent can take an event menu that big and go for it, right? I believe she was from, Kelowna or Vernon just before that, and then came through the UC or University of Calgary program. So yeah, definitely got a really good engine. very worthy of the top performer at Calgary title at this point.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait to see her battle at U Sports. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
Well, yeah, we
Um,
had Shauna Branton come down for the 100 breaststroke. I think that's just what she swam at College Cup. And yeah, I mean, everyone's looking for that little snapshot of the future, right? So they can prepare themselves, they can psych themselves up and kind of bring it back to their home environment and say, all right, this is what I need to do. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
all right, on to number three, University of Victoria.
Yeah, so I think Erin Epp, I think she's another Kelowna alum, I believe. Kelowna is killing it on the age group scene right now. Like there's so many swim meets where I'm just like, wow, these kids are really, really good. Their engines are really, really good. They're able to finish through their races really well. Obviously, there's a high skill element to that too. But yeah, what did she score in? She was IM breaststroke. So I mean, I'd say Peter's not the head coach anymore of UVic. It's on to Smoky now, but he's still around pretty often, right? They love their breaststroke technique. They love their tuner breast. They love their 4IM. So it's not surprising again to see kind of what schools are going to shine in certain events. So yeah, no, good for her for sure. But till I think it was 8 finals in every event for her. So that's really good, obviously.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, fifth in the medley relay, 400 medley relay, sixth in the 400 IM, seventh 50 breast, seventh 2 IM, and eight 2 breast. So yeah,
Yeah,
big results.
pretty cool.
Number four, University of Alberta. We have our top performer is Olivia Brenzen.
I believe it's Brendan. Yeah. Her brother had a really, really good meet too, right? But again, this is another swimmer that's making, 8 finals in the vast majority of their events, right? And they're swimming tough events, right? They're swimming like 800 free, 400 IM, 200 back. And those are, again, they're opportunities that are there if people want them, right? And at the end of the day, you just kind of got to get real with yourself and say, all right, I want to go best times. I want to continue to develop holistically. I want to contribute to the team. And it takes a certain level of bravery to stand up to those events and go for them. And then putting them all together in a weekend like that, it's pretty exhausting. But yeah, it's another swimmer that, like I said, her and her brother are swimming pretty well. U of A overall on a very positive trend, right? In terms of their swimming development. I think Paul's a really good coach, right? But yeah, she's did super well as well.
I'm looking at her events right now, and I should have made a category for who had the hardest weekend of these top performers, because she would definitely be a finalist in that category. 4 a.m., 200 back, 800 free, 200 fly. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, fifth place, University of Lethbridge, top performer being Delaney Lehman with 67
Correct.
points.
Yeah. Lethbridge, like on those girls' relays. So again, you look at the points of where each university is coming from. There's a ton of 50 breaststroke points. There's a ton of like 100 freestyle points, right? And kids that, I mean, Peter Shorey, really good sprint coach, really good at, letting fast kids be fast and allowing them to continue to develop in a way that's going to support what they are in terms of college level swimming, right? And looking for those gains. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say their bench record and their weight records are probably a lot higher than a lot of other teams. And yeah, like I think a couple medals for her, a few 8 finals as well, all in like pretty short events, which are very competitive, right? So because you're competing with the people like the Kyla Sanchez's that are just uber explosive, uber skilled. So yeah, good for her. Lethbridge also got the Women's Community Service Award for McKenna Wood, which is good. Some pretty cool stuff she's offered. So definitely a worthy recipient, I would say.
Yeah, and I was able to actually reach out to McKenna, which is really nice, and kind of get her thoughts and what she's been up to. Because you don't always hear the full list of what they've been doing, and I was really curious. And she had started a female mentorship program between LASC, of course, the swim club in Lethbridge, and the University of Lethbridge women. Focus at high school aged girls. They're paired with university swimmers. They're also in a private blog to give advice, playing group activities, fun stuff like that. All to help in preparation for post-secondary. But also volunteered with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Volunteered with Building Brains, which facilitates brain games and educational programs at schools and senior centers. Like, she is all over the place, doing great stuff for her community. So I just really wanted
When
to
I got
highlight.
her, I got the little package for each kid
Yep.
of, well, I think hers was like 2 pages, right? Like it's a pretty extensive list of what she's doing. So it's good. And those are the citizens you want swimming to create because they have huge benefits to society. They're also advocates for the programs, likely, right? And a lot of these programs. So I think UBC might be the only what we'll call pure varsity program because Calgary is UCSC. UVic has PCS, Alberta has Keano, Lethbridge has LASC, Manitoba has, junior bisons, and then we have the rods, right? So I think from my perspective, having that connection is really valuable because inevitably you're going to have the kids that are really good in coming through your club programs and they might have a ton of opportunities, but there's also unique advantages to staying at home and continuing to work on what you've had if it's been really successful for you. So yeah, I think there's a lot of wins there to be had.
Next up, number 6, we have Manitoba. Ella Howe, 62 points, top performer.
Yeah, I think she's originally from Lasers, and yeah, like she's a super strong girl, right? 50 freestyle, 100 free, 50 fly, like just events that you have to be strong and fast for. I know that we were certainly in a race with the Bisons, especially on the men's side, like earlier in the swim meet, and there's certain swims are like, all right, this is going to hurt a little bit, like a band-aid when you see that point differential come up. She's one of those kids that, again, is going to crank that differential up. So yeah, did good on the relays for sure. Big contributor in that. And yeah, super good at 50 freestyle, right? Especially when you consider who she's going up against, right? Miss Olympic medal. So that's probably one of the, yeah, like in terms of silver medals, that's really as good as it gets.
Yeah, like when the gold is so unreachable because it's like an Olympian Canadian record holder, like it's an amazing, amazing silver medal. Okay.
Yeah.
And University of Regina, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? You got your top performer.
Yeah, so I mean, from my perspective on that, we had Claire Yo as our top performer, rookie girl. But yeah, like this girl's already dropped just this year in the first 3 months, I guess. Her 100 breaststroke's gone from like 120 down to 114 on a relay, 115 individual, right? Her 200 breaststroke, I think, was like 248 down to 242. So good drops, and probably only the first couple meets she had to miss a little bit of training before the meet. So I'm especially happy with how she's gone, just because it's skills coming along, and even little things like she doesn't have her contacts yet and she has like really high glasses prescription, so she's used to kind of touching the wall with her face, right? So building in those skills, I'm really happy to see the development coming. Breaststroker on the women's side is something that we've kind of desperately needed. So otherwise, it's whichever backstroker can swim breaststroke the best. So I'm really happy to see how she's come along so far. And of course, like I always say, it's about the development, it's about the experience. So for her to get second swims and everything and be able to step up on that relay and drop another second, which she'd already dropped like 5 seconds on the 100, is really good for her. So looking forward to seeing her going along, and I have no doubt she'll be like a 33, 50 breast in no time. And after training camp, who knows? Maybe we'll come out the other side and surprise some people in the next couple of years for her.
Yeah, I really want to see it, and I'd love to see it. Are you going anywhere fun for training camp or just staying at home?
We are going to Orlando for training camp. We've got a really, really good schedule. We'll be training outside. And man, when you're in Regina and you're looking at these weather forecasts of other parts of the world, oh, it's a little tough sometimes. I have friends in Victoria that when we got back from Canada West, it was like Monday morning, we got in through Vancouver, we're flying back in, and they're sending me pictures of the forecast and just kind of chuckling a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I helped the kids dig their car out at the airport, and then we found our way back to campus. But yeah, they definitely didn't have to do that in Victoria. So
Yeah, Orlando will be a really nice change. Hopefully, some
yeah.
some nice days down there. Okay, and on to the men's side of the meet, UBC won it again, upsetting, or not really upsetting, but defeating Calgary, who had been the defending champions for a couple of years in a row. Top performer, of course, Finley Knox, Canadian record holder, Olympian, plus male athlete of the year.
Yeah.
And UBC really ran away with it on the award side. Tanner Cole, Rookie of the Year. Derek Schoof, Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Basically all UBC.
Yeah. I mean, on the men's side, I remember seeing the Calgary graduating ceremony at U Sports last year. I want to say they graduated like 11, 12, 13, like about that many guys, which is crazy, right? I mean, there's a lot of COVID, post-COVID things there. And I mean, it's pretty impressive, first of all, just be able to hang on to a few athletes for 5 years, keep them engaged, keep them improving is really, really good, right? The fact that people would say, I want to continue swimming, about eligibility, that should speak as a testament to the program, right? And yeah, I think UBC, talking to Derek's done a phenomenal job of bringing in the fresh blood for UBC sort of consistently. Tanner Cole, he's another one of those kids, sort of like Alexandre Lepage. Like I know him from OSC, where I used to coach, didn't coach him on his group, but like just sits super high in the water, has a really good engine. And when he wants to go, it's just like, watch out in the last 50 because Tanner Cole will be the outside smoke. But Finley, like, I think as far as I know, like Finley took a bit of time off because he had the whole Olympic thing and that sort of stretched out competition schedule. So as far as I'm concerned, like by College Cup, he was only on maybe week 2 or 3 of swimming again. So I think there's lots left in the tank. I think there's lots of potential for continued improvement in performance, which is pretty good when you got first in 50 fly, 100 fly, 100 breast, 100 back, help the relays. So yeah, I think everyone wants to see him race like a 200 IM or something and just crank it at U Sports, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, I'm just so excited. Like just talking about this. I guess seeing the first championship in the country just gets me so excited for U Sports. Even though
Yeah.
it's still a couple months away. I'm just so excited for it. I'm so excited. Okay, Calgary. They actually had two men tied for top performer, 83 points each. Stephen Calkins, of course, and Nicholas Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, to say Steve Calkins is a veteran of Team Calgary is probably the understatement of the year, right? Every time he gets his name read for graduating athletes, it's just like, I don't know how he keeps getting away with it, but good for him and good for continuing to be a top performer, right? So, especially because, Nick Duncan, another really good swimmer, right? So, um, yeah, good for those guys. And you look at the events they're doing, right? They're contributing to a variety of things. Like Nick Duncan's got like fly, breast, free, IM. So pretty good. Obviously, Steve Calkins, right? He's more of a power guy. He's got his 50 fly, 50 free, 100 free, 200 free, which is pretty, impressive to me. It's sort of like Chad Leclos going out after it in like London, or was it Rio? Yeah, like 200 freestyle, just out in lane 8, going out like a gutter ball basically, and just trying to hold on. But that's what you got to do. Takes some grit there and bravery to go out for it like that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, even some of the guys on my team at Laurier, when I mentioned Stephen Calkins, their first thought was the first thing that they said was, "He's still there? Like he's still swimming?
Still, yeah,
Like, and yeah, and he's still, one of the best guys just around."
yeah,
So,
good for him.
all right, number 3, University of Alberta, top performer Paul McKenzie, 79 points.
Yeah, and he's kind of like your classic free back guy, right? Like he was first in 200 freestyle. He swam the mile. He swam the 400. He's on the relays. Had to hit the 200 backstroke as well. I believe he's originally a UCSC product that's now at U of A. But yeah, obviously swimming well, pretty cool. U of A also has Min, right, as the Community Service Award winner. He's a super nice guy, super into swimming. He could definitely be on this podcast too. I'm sure he'd have lots of thoughts. He's pretty funny as well. So good kid.
I was also able to reach out to him. Took me a little bit of work to find his Instagram account,
He's
but
a little low key, hey?
he's pretty hidden. He doesn't have much out there. But the giveaway was U of A Swimming, of course, followed him. So that was the
Right.
giveaway. But yeah, he worked at a children's hospital collecting data on cardiac surgeries and vocal cord paralysis. And the hope is that the data can find more options to manage and prevent pediatric unilateral vocal cord paralysis, which is really cool. He also coaches young kids to swim and volunteers at Steadward to teach differently able children how to swim. And just, the icing on top, he tutors university and high school students for free in science courses and helps set up peer tutoring services at some of the Edmonton high schools. So just the icing on the cake.
He's a good kid, for sure. Well deserving of the award.
Oh yeah, doing good stuff. All right, number 4, UVic, top performer, Kira Oglev, 72 points.
Yeah, good pickup for the Vikes there in Hero Ogilvy, right? I mean, he's kind of gone full circle because I believe he was growing up as a PCS kid, like super good flyer, right? Went to UBC. Not sure if he took a break. I think he was in Australia for a bit, mostly just hitting the gym and getting big, right? But yeah, so to come back and swim events like 2 fly, 200 free, get in the relay, it's pretty good, right? Pretty impressive. There's been a few kids historically in that program that have sort of come full circle, like the Lauren Crisps that, at adult age have done really, really, really well. So it's good to see continued development there.
All right, number 5, University of Lethbridge, top performer, Tristan Bennett, 66 points.
Yeah, and man, oh man, oh man, yeah, good. He's a super good breaststroker, right? Like I think his PBs are blazing fast, right? Like what did he do at U Sports last year? I know he was definitely in the final. I think in the heats he was like right on a minute low. So yeah, he's really good. He's another classic like Lethbridge guy that's getting bigger, getting stronger, excelling in those events. So I don't know where he's from initially. I feel like it's somewhere like out there. I don't think he was a Canadian club guy getting up, but clearly it's working out well for him to be at Lethbridge. So it's good. Some relay PBs for him this year.
Yeah, I want to see what did he swim at U Sports.
Probably 50 breaststroke, 100 breasts, 200 breast, I would imagine.
Yeah, cool, calm,
Relays.
casual, 27, 50 breast,
Yeah.
100 breast, 100 short, 103 long at U Sports last year. Okay,
Yeah, good swimmer for sure.
crazy fast. Number 6, Manitoba, top performer, Eric Dupre.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if he's a Bison's guy, but he seems like a Winnipeg guy for sure. Another guy, Bison's, everyone kind of swims their own little event group, right? And I think Bison's are pretty largely like 200, 400 and under, basically, right? Pretty race pace oriented program. He's a big relay contributor. Same with our kids. Like, we're going to have a lot of kids that are familiar faces on the relays. So that adds to the racing volume they're doing over the weekend. But yeah, it's kind of a free back guy. He's got some good skills and yeah, obviously made the a final in 200 backstroke. So good to see. It's definitely not, I think we had Matthew was racing him for that spot, will be our next guy. Matthew had a good meet, but yeah, Eric's good for sure.
All right, and your turn, Regina.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Broff, this is the guy that had 100% attendance last year, 100% attendance this year. He's pretty bought into the program. He's continuing to improve, right? Hopefully he'll continue to swim another year. He's going to be making way more money than all of us when he goes into dentistry later. But yeah, like he had some huge swims in 200 backstroke, which is a point swim, but he just kind of continued to move up on that. Fun fact about him, he dropped 7 seconds off his best time on the 4x2 free relay, dropped from a 158 he did in September down to 151. So pretty good split. He's still in denial that he could be good at the 200, but I still got some time to work on him, right? Almost broke 50 in the 100 free. So he's right on setting a new team record, and his 50 backstroke. So funny story about that. So, he's gone 25, I think 25.8 or 25.9 in the time trial before. And he was 26.0 on a touch pad in this swim meet, which is basically like his fastest time minus, the watch, slight differential, right? That's going to be just people reacting and everything, right? But they've been wearing this, I don't know, tooth necklace thing. And for a second, when he finished his race, he was wearing the tooth and he went like 26.0 something. I'm like, you went 26.0 wearing the tooth, right? But no, he put it on after. So the race was toothless. So there's actually a clip of me reacting to that in this social media video they posted lately. I think it was Instagram and TikTok. There's a clip of me just like, you're wearing the tooth. But yeah, pretty funny.
That is funny. I love like little things like that, like
Culture.
yeah, it's the team culture. It's nice. All right, so that is basically the conclusion of Canada West, of the championship. Unless you have any final thoughts you want to add in there.
All I would say is that schools need to look for opportunities, because last year on Saturday night, we had 3 finals, not including relays, 3 individual finals. This year we had 9, and I looked at it. I looked at all the little empty lanes and 400 IM, 200 fly, things like that. There's still another 23 opportunities that can be just picked up off the ground. And suddenly, if you do that with enough kids, then you can make up a lot of points. I won't go into the projections, but there's a lot of opportunity for the people that are willing to swim the 200s, and that's going to be part of our team mandate heading into the next couple seasons.
All right. Now, speaking of your work, you're on the U Sports Ranking Committee. What's going on there? What are you working to do? How's it going?
Good question. So basically what I've done is I built this this software that is able to go to swim rankings. It's going to go to all the team pages. It's going to go through every event, grab the athletes, get their results from this season, and then compile that, which of course you can kind of get like a pseudo rankings from, right? You'd have a rankings of every event, and then you can rank it, score it, get an estimate of how many points and everything, right? But then kind of the West rules, you only get your top 4 events. There's certain scoring things, and then you have to scratch. So it'll actually go through that, re-rank it, rescore it, and then give, if people were all rational or optimal in their event selections, right? What the scoring would be at Canada West, or as well for U Sports. So that is something that I have built. Took like 8 hours, so not a super huge amount of time, but that is available. And I've actually run it a few times. Only issue is that there is a Tuesday at noon deadline. for basically submitting it to U Sports. And sometimes results don't get passed through long enough. Who knows what's going on the meet management side? Maybe there's some error, some whatever, right? But looking forward, like this week, we should be able to have U Sports put out a national team rankings. Something I'm interested in is having, some method of actually looking at a college swimming only rankings for Canada. So you can look down and see, okay, well, I'm 20th at U Sports, 16th, whatever, things like that. So that is something down the line that it'd probably take like another 2 to 4 hours to build. And I'm just, 3 swim meet weekends in a row. So it's a little tough right now. But yeah, moving forward, there should be published U Sports rankings available from U Sports that have been produced by myself every Monday, Tuesday. I'll be getting that into them. So hopefully it makes its way out.
Perfect. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be really exciting.
Should be good.
It's something that's been needed for a long time. All the other sports, especially team sports and youth sports, like their stats are available. You can see everything. You can see the rankings. You can see all that. Swimming has always got a lag behind. So thank you for getting this done and getting us something that we should have had for a while.
Well, I think it's good for the sport, right? Like it's good to have information available. I know that I, Mr. Computer Science guy, when I was a kid and I finally discovered swim rankings or power rankings, and you can see that, oh, you're 50th in BC, but how fast is the kid that's in first? Oh, that's crazy, right? Anything you didn't even know kids could go that fast. So suddenly your mind is opened, right? As well as pretty much every swim I've ever done is available in swim rankings. The good, the bad, the fast, the slow. You can kind of look at it, see the people you're racing, and it's really rich because it's a collection of that moment. It's sort of like digital memorabilia in a way, not like NFTs, but it's a moment that's been captured forever, right? And I think that for all the college swimmers, if the information's available, making it available in a way that enhances the sport and excites people and adds some value is a good thing. So that's what we're going to try to do. And hopefully it works out. Hopefully over the next few weeks, we really, really have some good stuff to share with people.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. And just quickly, I'm wondering if you know what is going on with the Swim Canada website and why meet results aren't on there and all that stuff. Because swim rankings has really been the go-to, especially for this year, because of those issues.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I think they had to switch to a new website provider, basically, because of some ways that information is being handled. And my understanding of the situation is that there was some differences in how intuitive maybe the software was. There was some functionality that maybe didn't work in the way it would expect it to be. So some people were, finding errors or submitting tickets or things like that. And then because of the importance of things that are needed for things to run, other things get delayed, right? So initially, I think in September, it was saying, okay, well, we're going to wait until October to have the swim meet stuff on. Then it became December. Then I believe it's currently January. So as far as it's concerned, we're still running swim meets. We've got results circulating. Things are making their way to swim rankings. So in terms of getting the things you need to get done, they're getting done, right? I'm optimistic that things will get figured out. They'll kind of get over the backlog of things. And then when everything works out, hopefully it'll be better than ever. So.
All right, perfect. Our call is going to end in like a minute and a half. Do you want to talk at all about the announcement of University of Alberta getting rid of their program? Do you want to talk about that at all? It's completely.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I'm in not a similar situation in terms of getting cut, but in terms of having club affiliation on the varsity team, right? And yeah, it's really unfortunate that those kids are getting their team cut. Hopefully they can find a way to continue if they want to. I know U of A, there's lots of senior kids that are maybe in engineering or other programs like that. So really feeling for them because at a certain point, school's got to come first. You got to get your degree, right? But I hope for the athletes that they can continue to find ways to get after what they want to get out of the sport.
Yeah, it's really tough. And the University of Alberta Swimming Alumni Society messaged me on Instagram and told me that there's a $6 million endowment requirement for them to keep that program running, which is crazy.
Yeah, and that's just based on, and I went to the town hall. They gave some really good information. They've been pretty transparent with the situation. So yeah, if anyone's got $6 million to spend and you love U Sports swimming, U of A is the target right now.
Yeah, they really need it. Okay. This is going to end any second. So Baylee, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a lot of fun, and I really appreciated your insights.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me on. It's a fun discussion. So always happy to be a part of it.
All right, thank you. We would like to thank Swim Nerd Canada and their digital and programmable pace clocks for sponsoring our show. Visit swimnerdcanada.com to learn how to get your program a Swim Nerd digital pace clock.